When we're born, and we're all born with a purpose, I wanted to say on the topic of like living purposely and actually doing what you're supposed to do and ought to do. Um, you know, this flesh is very temporary. I've talked about this a little bit before. Um, and we live this life, and what is actually the purpose that you're living this life for? And really question yourself, and are you actually like living a purposeful life? Because let's think about if you live life without God your entire life. Let's say you live 100 years. What are you actually achieving in those 100 years? You're doing some temporary flesh stuff in this world. You might be able to do some good deeds and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you might also do bad deeds because you don't have God in your life, and you're just kind of willfully going about your whole life, busying about for 100 years. But the thing is, like, we can busy about for eternity without any actual meaning behind it. And that's where I think God comes in and gives us meaning and purpose to life through spirituality. And think about like spirituality. What is spirituality in a sense? Like, spirituality is working with your soul and God and growing your soul in a sense. It's allowing your soul growth, and our soul and flesh is connected. And when one suffers pain, the other suffers pain. So when you're not taking care of your soul, what happens is your flesh also suffers, and vice versa, basically. So I think spiritual growth is the only long-lasting growth in this world that you can do. Honestly, it's the most purposeful thing you can do, is growing your spirit, because that's the only thing that's going to last after this world. The only thing that actually matters is how you're developing inside, and everything that you develop on the inside reflects on the outside anyway. When you're working on just living life, and everything you do on the inside gives much more meaning to everything you do on the outside, in my opinion. That's what I've noticed anyway. Since coming to faith and knowing God, I feel like everything I did before God didn't really have as much purpose in it, and didn't really have as much like meaning behind it at all, because it kind of just felt like I was just like kind of, busying about for my own futures and destinies and whatever. Something like, how much money I want to make and how much this and that you want, and like, but it doesn't really have any meaning behind it. It's just kind of like vain of like, let's just get this thing, like let's just get this thing because I kind of need it to survive, and live a whatever life, and to have people think about certain stuff about me, like how much status I have, what opinion they have like about my status, and what people think about my future, and like where I'm at in society. Like that's where all these things stem from, is that matrix mindset where people are trying to drill into you that like these things matter, and like how people perceive you, and opinions, and whatever, like where you're at in life, and what status do you have, what education do you have. And that's where all these people and their corruption stems from, is thinking about all this like I'm higher because I'm better educated, and so on and so forth. All this like bullshit basically that people tell you in this like matrix mindset, is to be some kind of a superhuman person, and following all these kind of like satanic philosophies and whatever, that like you need to be busying about all the time and achieve certain things by a certain time, and be this certain type of person to be a good person, or like all of these kind of lies that society tells you that are not useful at all. And that's where God can help you with this, is give meaning to your life. Because I felt like, honestly, personally, for me, before I finally got, I didn't have any meaning in my life. Nothing felt good. I was always kind of like, you're in that darkness where it's like nothing feels like anything. Like it's kind of just like, why am I doing this? I might enjoy things for a moment and doing some stuff, but and I have some passions and so on, but like nothing really felt meaningful without God, because it's just like God gives you that light and life force that you need to actually have a good life. And all these people, they just kind of busy about their whole life, but what end? They just survive and live, and they act bad, they do promiscuous stuff, they chase the next pleasure after another, but you never actually achieve anything, and you never actually get to the point where you wanna like live a purposeful life. And of course, not everybody maybe has the nature essence to actually do that. Some people still want to change and live a better life. Some people enjoy coveting the comforts of the flesh and doing whatever. But I don't really see any meaning behind it, because personally for me, I've never felt this good in my life that I feel now. This calm, peace, joy, and presence of God is the only that gives me really like true motivation to keep going and live life meaningfully, because it's like, and not waste time, because I felt like there was just nothing there, you know? And with God, everything feels better. Like even those moments of just stillness and relaxation feel better with God, with the presence of God in you and the Holy Spirit. Like everything feels better. You know, you're sitting by the beach. It feels so much better now than it would have felt before, just because God is there in my life. And it's kind of funny, like I feel like you can't enjoy life without God, like truly enjoy life and live a peaceful, joyous life and, you know, do things that are meaningful with God. And that's really what I wanted to say in this video, is how good it feels in comparison to do things with God, you know, whether it's relaxing, working, everything, you know, and everything in moderation. About like, I think that's really a meaningful life, is when you can do everything in kind of moderation, you know, work hard, rest, and have a balance in life and have God in your life, spend time with God. And that's when you feel the best and most calm and peaceful and joyful, once you do the inner work and you feel very good. And I think that's really important for people to understand, because that's the main culprit reason why people feel so bad all the time and depressed and so on in the darkness, is because they're not following God. They're kind of just busy about on their own. They might achieve riches, status, and so on, but like it's never gonna fill them. And I've seen many examples of people like this where in the, you know, they have millions of followers or money and so on and so forth, but it never actually fulfills them. It's just for, you know, to show off and do whatever way things. Never actually fills their life with anything. There are people who are even like just with God who are more poor, that are way happier than those people will ever be. And that's just a statement of the fact of like how much God can do in your life, regardless of what circumstance you find yourself in. So will is away. God bless. Thank you for watching. Just like the donate is in the description, and one-on-ones in the description as well. Thank you for watching. Amen.